Hello, how's everyone doing today? Great, yes, yes. Awesome. So we've got a wonderful panel of guests with us today. We've got, Lebanon has made a huge move in terms of interest in the digital sector from very large corporations in creating kind of digital clusters and paying attention to digital companies. And a lot of this has happened in the last 12 months. We've seen Solidaire launch their beautiful Cloud 5 space with companies moving in there. We have the BDD, which launched also within the last 12 months with the support of the ministry and with a very big vision for kind of reshaping an entire neighborhood into a digital district. And we have with us Nidal from Z Launchpad from Jordan, who has a completely different vision for how kind of communities can be built within spaces. We called this session Digital Clusters, but in my mind, it's really about digital spaces and communities, right? It's about how do we marry infrastructure with services and partnerships and events and activities that enrich them and build a community around these spaces that are synergistic and adds value. To start off, I'll ask each of our panelists to give us a brief opening statement about kind of what it is that they're doing, their vision for their space. So I'll start with Nidal.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you very much. Actually, it's very simple. I think the world witnessed 4 revolutions so far. The first revolution was the agricultural revolution. The second is the industrial revolution. The third is the technological and automation revolution. And the past decade, we've been living the knowledge revolution. And I think we're on the tipping point of the wisdom and consciousness revolution. And I'm sure that you're all witnessing it. So basically, Z Launchpad is about enriching a collaborative spirit rather than a competitive spirit by creating a talent mix within a community in a workspace. It's not a real estate spin, where they can approach the digital economy in the true sense. Thank you.
Excellent. Munir?
Well, this time last year, ArabNet 2012, we were here and we said that we intended to create a place or a space somewhere on the waterfront in Solidaire to allow startups or young people who have new technological ideas to be able to develop their ideas. So this idea has really evolved into Cloud 5. Now Cloud 5 is really a space that we have created, which is 500 square meters in a building situated in the city center of Beirut. It's fully equipped, and we have the necessary services and facilities that these startups and young individuals who have their ideas or businesses that they want to develop, and they can benefit from these services and facilities. We have 10 megabits dedicated internet bandwidth. We have conferencing facilities, including video conferencing, and we have security and backup power 24/7. Now, the idea is really to provide space to these people who are not really big companies, who have modest budgets as startups, and they would really like to have the flexibility on one hand, and second, really the competitive pricing, so that they don't really be burdened from the beginning with a lot of rent. So we are providing this space in a very flexible way to individuals who can just come and sit, bring their laptop in, plug in, and they have all these services that I have mentioned. And this way, they can do what they want to do, and they have incubators, they have accelerators, and they have also the availability of investors and mentors who can provide all these other services for which they need.
Excellent. Mohammed, can you tell us about the Beirut Digital District?
Yeah. Beirut Digital District was launched in last September. It was an initiative launched by the Ministry of Telecommunication, mainly trying to create a cluster within Lebanon for the fastest growing community in Lebanon, which is the digital entrepreneurs, the ICT sector. Now, we wanted to try to create a place where we can host these young, dynamic, creative entrepreneurs. And for that, we proposed our plan where we will build a 40,000 meter square of community to have an incubator part, an incubator accelerator part, where small and startup companies can be hosted, can be nurtured. Venture capitalists will be able to invest in these companies so that they can grow. Coupled with these small startup incubator accelerator part will be the commercial part. The commercial part will host medium to large size enterprises. It's very important in all these pockets to have these both entities, and this is the direction worldwide of these digital clusters, because they need to interact together, they will network together, and they will work together. How to get them to network and work together? We will provide them with shared facility. Instead of every company having its own facility, we're going to have a shared facility for all companies that will be hosted in Beirut Digital District. Such facilities will have auditorium, conferences, R&D, educational facilities, and many others that is a need basis on a daily basis. In addition, we want a place where all this community can work, but still can live in a very nice, forward-looking, environmentally friendly basis. That's why BDD will be a lead neighborhood type of district. That's why we'll be offering type of furnished apartment, 3 to 4 star hotels, and small apartments targeting the young, dynamic engineers or creative people, where they can live in the city at affordable prices. So this is the idea behind it.
Excellent. So we've got 2 real estate developers, 1 community space, right? And I want to understand, we've got the infrastructure, and we agree that the infrastructure is a problem. But how do we go beyond that? And this is a question for you 2 gentlemen. How do we go beyond that, right? As real estate developers, what are you going to provide to really create a value proposition, a compelling value proposition for people? And maybe that's through partnerships or other activities. Can you give us a sense of how you're planning to engage the community?
Well, as a real estate company, and we are in the process of building or rebuilding the city center of the capital, we believe that our responsibility is not only to renovate the buildings or build new projects. Our responsibility is really to create a community, a city life, which combines people living there, people working there, and to keep adding value to all these uses that people are looking for. So adding value really comes by providing the necessary services and facilities in a context which already has state-of-the-art infrastructure, because we have provided the infrastructure in the city center and we're continuing to do that. But really, from a real estate point, the adding value is always by continuing to develop and adding these services. And the proof is that what we've been doing so far for the last few years is every year we're bringing something new. We're adding cultural services, art, exhibition places, etc. But since we announced that we wanted to add technological services and technology in general, so already we have the BBN, which is the Beirut Broadband Network, which is one of the part of the infrastructure that we have built, and it's probably today the only fiber optic network that is available in the country, and it is located in the city center. So it is fiber to the home. It has all the advantages of providing high bandwidths to all the users in the city center, and we want to continue building on that. So all this really would bring the community together and would allow residents, businesses, and all those who want to be in the city center to come and benefit from these services.
Monir, I'm going to press you a little bit on this. We talked about infrastructure. I'm a startup, I'm coming to your space. Beyond the infrastructure, are you going to help me connect with people? Are you going to help me get money? What do you guys want to do?
Yes, of course, because as I said in the beginning, this platform is really a space where people can come there, and we already have two companies, two incubator and accelerator companies who are already operating there. And we had a very nice function last night. We had more than 100 people, up to 150 people who came, and we had this angel investor exercise, and we saw a lot of interest. So I think that this space is really started not from zero. It started already from a certain level, and it's picking up very fast. And this is a proof that really we have a lot of people, we have a lot of startups and people with new ideas who would like to develop these ideas in a very competitive and flexible manner.
Muhammad.
Omar, I'm gonna skip the IT. You said let's wait for the IT for another and see how, as a real estate, we're gonna try to attract and help these companies flourish.
Yeah,
I'm gonna focus on this point to try to see what's the added value.
Yes, the added value, let's say outside of infrastructure, outside of space, right?
Because, we'll go back to the infrastructure at the late just.
Perfect. Because I'm sure that you also hope that you're going to have some high-speed internet that Munir has, right?
This is, definitely. This is the basics. This is the ABCs that we're all working towards it, that the ministry is working towards it. It is a must, as you said, in the IT, is to have fiber optics for the whole of Lebanon, to transform the whole of Lebanon to a digital country. But we'll go back to that idea later during the panel discussion. But as a real estate developer, as we said, ZRE, we see ourselves as builders of communities. Okay? This community is the fastest growing community, which is the digital creative community. And it is the most important in Lebanon due to the education level that we have and the spirit that we have of educational talent that can be held as a production facility to the neighboring countries. Okay? Now, as a real estate developer, what we want, as we said, is that the shared facilities that these companies will benefit from will be the beating heart of Beirut Digital District. These shared facilities will help companies have access to state-of-the-art teleconferencing facilities, auditoriums, conference rooms. They will have also access through Beritech to venture capital funds, where venture capitalists will be able to be introduced to the ideas of these startups, and they'll be able to invest in these startups. We'll do networking events on regular basis between all companies that are hosted in BDD and external companies to bring them together to present the ideas of these companies. And we're gonna try to also train these people by providing training classes from abroad so that they can advance and progress. This is type of the field that we want. Most importantly, we want to hear what these companies want. We want to hear them, we want to see what we can offer, and we'll be happy to help them offering these through shared facility so that everyone gets the benefit of these shared facilities. And not every company has to develop its own, let's say, recording studios or other photo studios.
Okay, so I wanted to talk just quickly partnerships. Munir, you mentioned that you were working on a partnership right now with a potential university institution. How do you guys see partnerships and the role of partnerships in this?
Well, we have been already participating and partnering and collaborating with a lot of different institutions, but really the building or the location of this Cloud 5, where it is today in this building, we already have the BBN center and all the servers there, so it's already one component. Cloud 5 is the second component, and going forward, we also intend to kind of complete this building by bringing in other elements to it, like an educational component, whereby we will be partnering eventually with some institutions, educational institutions, who can conduct courses from that space, not from the Cloud 5, but from another floor in the building, and therefore this building will become a complete hub, a complete center for all these collaborative activities that will work together, and there will be a lot of synergy between them.
Okay. Hamad, you guys are partnering with Beritech, right?
Yes.
Are there other organizations that you're partnering with, maybe educational institutions or others that you're bringing in as well?
the first partner and our main partner on to host the incubator accelerator park is Beritech. Beritech has been in Lebanon for the last 10 years. It was the first initiative in the Middle East as a technological park. They provide, as we said, venture capital funds. They have the Beritech fund. In addition to that, we do agree with Beritech that we're open to all types of incubator accelerator also to be hosted. We want everyone to be here and to try to provide them the help. Now, the second most important type of partnership, we're trying to have a research center, and with the help also with the ministry and the Banque de Liban and other institutions, we think an R&D center where all companies in Lebanon, international companies such as Microsoft, where we assisted to the presentation now, and other multinational and other local companies, can support perhaps R&D initiatives from outgoing talented students from universities can come and provide their ideas is an essential matter that will boost this digital economy. We think also, instead, in addition to R&D, trying to have collaboration with local universities and connect them, and we're trying to partner with some US and European universities to try to have some students from a certain level, undergrad and grad, to assist to classes. This also is a very important issue that we're trying to help and to work on to achieving that objective. A third thing is, even on the school levels, we are encouraging some initiatives, the first of which is, for example, Geek Express, which is the first retail shop that opened in BDD, which is a kind of education-oriented retail concept where there are workshops being done with Endeavor, with Bader, with education. We will also approach some schools to bring in students to get acquainted what's happening in the technology sector, how to get familiar with the technology center, and these are all initiatives that we'll be working on and stressing, because this will be the most important thing, how BDD will grow.
Nidal, I know we've left you on the side for a moment, but I wanted to get to you now for two reasons. One, I want to hear about your space. I've heard it's futuristic and very sexy.
Yeah.
And I want to hear about it. And I want to hear also you, when the first time when we got together pre-panel, and the first thing you said on this panel is, I'm not a real estate developer.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to hear your perspective as well as your insights or comments to the other panelists.
Okay.
But tell us about your space first, because I think that's pretty interesting.
Okay. Z Launchpad is about 550 meters in Jordan. The whole objective of Z Launchpad is to ensure that we build a community from a different perspective, whereby we bring a different pool of talent mix. That's why we're careful of how we're building the community. And they come as members rather than renters. So we try to enrich the environment by them using their different single-based professions and helping each other to approach small to medium-sized companies. How do we do that? Most people now are afraid to take the plan B in their life and take command of their life, especially after 2008 and the crash, and people realize that capitalism in its current form in reality does not work. And the new era of caring capitalism is what counts. So these people a lot of people are in their job, but they say, what if this happens again? I'm going to be left out in the cold. Many people are trying to come to this space and feel that it is their own. So you might have here a web designer, you might hear a web developer, a graphic designer. They can start working together, and the more important is Orange International came in with me as a collaborator, not as a sponsor, because they believe in it, and to make sure that we provide them with the tools to embrace the digital economy. I have noticed that most people in this part of the world are afraid to sell their services online and to compete internationally. And what we're trying to do is to let them direct their services as single-based professions in order to sell their services in high-margin countries. As you know, in the region, we're passing through an economical, let's say, obstacle. So in order to achieve that, they have to feel this is their own space. What did I do? I did some crazy stuff in the space. The first thing that we have, what's first applied in the region, is that this space has no staff. Everything is based on something called Wi-Fi cards technology, MyFair. The locks are MyFair technology, but they're not just locks. As if when you go on a cruise ship, you have your ID, you have your money, and everything is on the card. So there's nobody there to help you. When you get your membership kit, everything is on the CD, so you know what to do on your own. The second thing we did, which is a bit wacky, is we partnered also with a Swiss company called Spinetics. And what this company does is that everything, we're trying to eliminate paper trail in the place. So everything, there are screens everywhere where everybody can collaborate and know what is the pool talent that's available there. So they can share and know about each other because they're not there at the same time. But the first thing that was applied in the Middle East was the sound masking technology. You know, we still come from a culture that is closed and people don't, the biggest obstacle in co-working spaces, this is the sector that I'm doing, is sharing and trust. So this sound masking, what it does, if for those that know the noise cancelling headphones, we have them in the rooms and in the open spaces, so they sound the noise and the verbal language, so nobody can really know what the others are talking about. But later we're going to reduce the sound so they can start collaborating more. So it's building the trust between people. All the projectors in the space are Wi-Fi network projectors, so you can project on them from your iPhone and everything. The nicest thing, most of these entrepreneurs, and I prefer to call them freelancers, they have what is called an automated butler. What's an automated butler? Most people need people to do something for them in terms of answering their phones, in terms of paging people around in the facility, knowing where who's who, and mobility. Because now we're embracing what is called the NR, or the new rich. The new rich era is not about just money. It's about time and mobility. So time and mobility is key. Therefore, everybody has an address in this space and a number. So anybody that calls them and leaves a message, for instance, they get it anywhere in the world on their email. Or they can forward it to their mobile, or so on and so forth. But what's even nicer is that anybody that calls into the space, they have to say their name before they get into the butler. So what happens, you know, most of the space is you must be collaborating here or in a meeting. If you put that option, then the caller can use an option to say page. So you can be called in that entire facility, you have a call, and everything is user-based, you can pick it up. Now, printers, of course, it's a given to have. Oops, sorry. Yalla hasal khair. Okay, having printers is a basic thing to have printers. But what we did, Xerox also came into the power play with us to empower these people. You can print anything from anywhere. And these printers are multi-purpose printers to the extent they print up to 2400 dpi by 2400 dpi, up to 300 GSM, which means for people who want a quick business card or a quick presentation, it's like a doculand at your fingertips. But nobody's there to help. But in order to build a community, this is one last thing.
Yes.
What we do for them to feel the ownership, because one of the things I noticed that in this region, everybody feels that there's an entitlement-based culture. So what we're trying to enrich, and I'm trying to enrich, is the performance-based culture. In order for them to feel they own the space, on all these screens, there is a cost index. And this cost index, every 3 months is revised based on how much they use or abuse the space. Let them do whatever they want in the space. So if they take care of the space, and they do savings, I pass on the savings to them in their memberships. If they increase the cost and they abuse the paper and they abuse everything, the cost index will go up. So this also kind of enriches a sense of ownership. So at the end of the day, what's going to happen, everybody from different talents are sitting around each other. Maybe they left their jobs to pursue their career. They feel as if they're still in a company, but yet not an employee. And at the same time, they feel like a business person or a businesswoman, that they can offer their services in a collaborative, they call it tribal approach, together for small and medium businesses. What do we do to enhance their experiences? We bring very high-level people to the space all the time on a weekly basis to talk to their senses, all of them. Their heart, their mind, and their soul, and of course, their profession. And what we're trying to enrich in them is on hands-on, because I've been in the corporate world for 25 years and I realized the model, that's my feeling. So what we're doing to them is for them to start pursuing and enjoying the journey rather than worrying about the destination and doing what they love. So for them to focus on a profession rather than a job. So this is what we're doing.
Great. I'm interested in seeing at this point if we have some questions from the audience. Hanan. And we've got a question in the back next.
Yeah, I first would like to thank you because these are all great projects that would add a lot. But personally, I've attended a lot of ambitious launches of smart cities, clusters, etc. And they all fell into the trap of becoming a typical real estate. So my question is around the sustainability and the sustainability of the quality of services and the target of making it an innovative cluster. How do you avoid the trap of the smart city and internet city in Dubai and etc., who started off with these ambitious plans and ended off as a real estate projects? So maybe it's the sustainability. How do you intend to sustain the focus of being a digital cluster?
I think at least in Beirut Digital District, what we're trying to do, it's a demand-driven type of approach. So we're going with in small phases steps, but sure steps, where every step complements the one before it. And it's the companies that are going to inhabit Beirut Digital District that we think will maintain this hub. It's having the people and having even the retail component, for example, from, as I said, Geek Express, to other types of, for example, printing shared facilities, or to a canteen type of area where everyone, instead of having a typical model today, where every company has its own kitchen, everyone goes down and shares a canteen, where a networking event is and hearing what the companies want and adhering to what they want is what will maintain this district. So we really need to be proactive with the community itself, which will inhabit this district. So we have to listen to them, grow with them, and this is why we phased it for the upcoming 10 years. The first phase is 5 years, and even the first phase is divided every year and will be modulable enough to cater to the needs and to the evolution of the digital and the economical industry.
What do you want to?
Well, our intention is obviously not to create smart cities. Solidaire and the city center is already a smart city in itself. So really what we have, what we're trying to do now is just to add these components that complete the whole picture. Because, we have a development process that will go over 30, 35 years maybe. And if you don't keep adding all these services for the residents of the place, something will be missing. So, Cloud 5 today is really a small space, but it has a lot of services and facilities that are very useful and very efficient. And, while we intend to see it growing bigger and more prosperous, I don't think really we intend to grow it physically to a much bigger space. The idea is just to create a platform and to provide facilities with a lot of flexibility for startups, for young people to be able to come and develop their projects and companies and ideas, because we believe that we need this commercial business component in the city center. We need to push it forward. We need to develop it. And these companies, if they develop themselves, can stay in the city center and then can contribute to the economy and can add more jobs to the economy. This is the idea. The idea is not to create smart cities, the way you probably are thinking of it. As I said, we have different components. The construction component, we have then all the other living components. We have the We have the cultural, educational, providing services, technological services. And why did we think of this? Is because we already have the broadband. The broadband is already a big asset that is available in the city center. So we would like to build around it and build on top of it because we want to give benefit to all the residents. We have internet, we have IPTV, we can have video conferencing, we can have all the other services that one can provide on a fiber optic backbone network. So we're doing that really to complete the whole picture from a real estate development point of view so that we can have really the finest city center in the Middle East.
Okay. Daniel, I'm going to take another question. Another question?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what the occupancy rates of each of the spaces are, and also how much you charge for rent or membership. Do you offer discounts or anything?
Where is the question?
So the question is, what's the occupancy like at your space, and how much do you charge for membership? Is it discounted? And my question as well is, and particularly to you, Nidal, you're saying I'm not a real estate developer. How do you make this project financially sustainable as well for you?
Okay.
So we'll start with you and then move forward
Sure.
to the gentleman.
For instance, in Z Launchpad, the memberships start from $30 a month all the way up to $425. They can range from hours to months. But how do I make it sustainable? Usually, co-working spaces should not be in high-cost rental areas. So for instance, here they should be somewhere in Jumeirah in an old apartment, 500, 550 meters. So how do I make it sustainable? My occupancy rate now, I've just opened the past 3 months, is around 30%. With the way I structured the cost, I already am covering my operational expenses completely. Okay, now, but...
And what does $30 a month get you?
What 30 months, it gets you a virtual desk.
Virtual desk.
A virtual
desk. Does that mean I don't even get a desk?
No, wait. You can go into a... For those that have been to universities in the States, it's like when you go to a library, okay?
I show a shared desk. I have a desk when I come in, but
yes.
It's not a desk that I call my own.
You have a desk, you have the printing already within the package. And the way even the coffee and tea, we have it structured because it's a mix. Okay, can I take 2 steps back just so you can give me a second? Okay. People that want to take a step in their life, first they want to start working from home, then realize it's not structured. Then they move to the coffee shop, which Starbucks call the third place. Then again, it's not structured. Then they try to take their own rental office, which is very expensive. I am called the fourth place, not me, the Z Launchpad. Why? Because there has to be the beverage mix. So even that is automated in my space, and it's even included. So instead of them going to coffee shops, they're in a more structured, friendly environment for the virtual people, and even the one above. They come in whenever they please, okay? But it's on a first-come, first-days. For students, because also we're trying to help students, we give them 50% discount on everything.
Okay.
Okay?
So
this model that I am building, this is not a model that will be built on making money. I'm not going to make money from it.
Okay.
Let's make it that way. And the answer to you, for me, I'm not going to make money on this one. Why am I doing it? That's part of my new mantra as the Chief Mahu, but
okay.
I'm enjoying it. Eventually it will, because the sector is growing in the world and co-working is becoming very popular. When it started in 2009, there was only 694 spaces. Now worldwide, as we speak, they tipped above the 2,000, and they're growing at 4.5 co-working spaces per day.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen a huge number of co-working spaces launch in the Middle East. Huge. We've seen 5, 6, 7 co-working spaces launch in the Middle East in the last 12 months. Actually, we were supposed to be joined by the district from Egypt. They couldn't make it at the last minute, but I think it's a very hot topic as well. So, okay, great. So for $30, I can get a virtual desk, and I can get coffee, tea, and printing.
And also you have your butler, and
I have all the virtual services.
It's like an office.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Munir, what can I get at Cloud 5?
For $300 a month, you can get a real desk and all the other facilities and services, namely the space is provided with 10 megabits of bandwidth, around the clock.
So I get my bandwidth for free with you.
Yes,
It's
you
very
can.
important.
But $100 already, $100 out of the $300 really is the cost of the bandwidth. Now, the $200 really goes for the other services. We're providing a very nice space in a nice building, a protected building, 24/7. We have full power,
Electricity.
and this is important here in Lebanon.
It's a given.
Around the clock.
Amazing. It's amazing how different the story is.
It's a given.
we have $100 a month for internet, and we have a celebration of 24-hour electricity.
Right. So it's very flexible. You can rent this desk for 1 month or 2 months or whatever period you might want to rent it for, and you can just sit down and plug your laptop and work. But it's really a very nice environment, and we think, and by from what we have gathered so far, is that the companies that have taken position there really already find the pricing very interesting, and this is why we're getting
So
more
what's
demand.
the occupancy rate like?
Well, the space takes up to 50 stations. So already we have like about half of it already filled by companies and by individuals.
Great.
I would like just to go back to the idea of BDD, which is composed of a commercial park which will host the medium to large size enterprises, and the startup incubator accelerator park, which will host the startup companies and the small companies. Now, in the small startup company incubator accelerator park, that will be managed by Beritech today, our partner. They just launched their first building, which is almost 2,500 meters square of built-up area. They will have the flexibility of offering a space from where you can go and have a desk on a daily basis. You can have on a weekly basis. You can have on a monthly basis. You can have spaces ranging from 40 meters square, 60 meters square, up to 100 meters square. So it'll be flexible to try to cater to all types of small companies. I know that they are offering their a day desk with all the facilities, internet and services at $20 per day. And this is per day people can come in, they will have their internet, they go, they take their laptop, they sit, and they start working.
So $20 a day times 30
$20
days.
a day with Beritech in the Beritech Park, and this is the BDD part. Now on the commercial part, which is medium to large size enterprises, where we want to offer flexibility for these companies to come, refurbish their offices, to take care of their needs and do their offices according to their needs. We have committed as ZRE to provide discounted subsidized rates at $200 per meter square per year for the office. And that's for the medium to large size enterprises. Okay. So this is now an important thing that I didn't mention that we thought is, as Munir said, it's very important today. Solidaire had the fiber optics and the broadband, which is very important thing that everyone, and this is one of the main aims of, I think, the ministry that trying to roll out and improve, and they already did a lot, and they're trying their best. I would like to announce that BDD is connected to fiber optics network. Now, we have fiber optics that has reached BDD. Now, activating this fiber optics is still in the process, and everyone, I think, is doing its best to activate it, give the greatest infrastructure, because as you said, if you want to maintain it and put it not only like a real estate project, the core of these cities is infrastructure, IT infrastructure. We also tested in BDD the 4G system with Alpha. They already tested in BDD. So this is also will be provided. You'll have 4G in BDD. These all will be included in the services provided to the companies that will be hosted in BDD.
Okay, we're going to take a question from Ben.
I'm struck that by the topic of this title was on digital clusters, and we've ended up talking a lot about, well, very undigital things, buildings, and we've also ended up talking about, not about clusters. Clusters, and as you were just talking, and I was thinking, okay, I was trying to think of other clusters that have grown almost by themselves, and I'm struck by Berlin as an example, which is a cluster that grew completely and totally organically. There was no central hub to it. There was no one was building great buildings and fiber optics and all of this. And really the essence of Berlin as a cluster is about the people it attracted. It drew people in. And it was nothing to do with buildings, it was all about the people that came there, the young entrepreneurs. So my question is, what are you doing to attract young entrepreneurs? What are the things that they are looking for, and how are you providing that? And I'm not talking about fiber optic cables, and I'm not talking about virtual desks. The lifestyle, the passions, the things that interest them. So how are you addressing the very much the people side of this and not the building side?
So I'm just going to make a quick caveat about that, is that in Berlin, there are a lot of things that are taken for granted, like 24/7 electricity and high-speed internet. Unfortunately, we are still living in a country where the infrastructure is a problem and an impediment. So, but I agree with you, and I think this reflects Hanan's question as well, which is, and the pressing question for the panel, which is, how can they get beyond necessarily the real estate background that they are in and build communities, right? And then, so I will get back, let the panel answer your question about what are you doing to attract the talents?
Can I say that?
Yeah.
I think, let me, sorry,
I'm gonna let Nidal start because he asked, but
Yeah.
then
No,
we'll
that's
go
okay.
to you.
No, please.
Please, Nidal.
Okay. The key in co-working spaces is talent mix, where people, if you look at all the surveys that are done by Desk Mag International, is creating a community. And that's what we're doing at Z Launchpad. If I wanted to have 100% occupancy, and it's not just a virtual desk, we range from a virtual desk to a full service desk, but they all service it themselves, is building the community by ensuring the proper talent mix. Now, since we are an underdeveloped country, not comparable to Berlin, what are we doing? We make sure that we try to generate for these people that are taking a risk to empower their life, to provide them with a revenue flow. For instance, if you look at my website that's done, it's done by a member. If you look at the logos that are done by the members. I was just in Saudi a couple of days ago. One of the filmmakers in the members, he did the film for a presentation that I had. At the same time, what's happening is these people are trying to make sure that they are homogeneous in nature. So there is a lot of talent, for instance, in Jordan that I can say, but they're afraid to take that step. What we do is just bring them together by themselves without imposing it or any liability on ours, so they don't feel there is something in an indoctrination process, and the magic is starting to reveal. Currently, we just attracted even expatriates, NGOs, believe it or not, that are teaching these kids while they're having coffee and everything, because they're now becoming a community, how to build a humane company, for instance, on how to focus on the balance between life and building your career. So the community is key to attract these people. It is not the facility. If you visit Z Launchpad, you'll notice that the decoration or everything else, the tools are there, but everything else is pretty creative but basic, because they're not there for a mahogany desk or a Vitra chair, okay? So they come, even there's graffiti on the wall, and people can do whatever they want. So I am seeing what people are hungry for, especially those that leave corporates or start their life, is to feel they're still part of a community that they can talk to each other. That's the attraction point, at least in Z Launchpad.
When you had a response.
Yeah,
sorry.
just quickly. Again, I want to emphasize that we are not building any clusters within the city center, so it's just really one component that we're adding to whatever else we're doing. The space itself, again, you know, other than talking real estate and services, we you know, the space includes today incubators, accelerators, who are trying to help these young companies and startups to find them capital, and really this is what they need. Other than the services, they need capital. So I think the platform there is providing you know, these facilities, and we Solidaire, you know, we intend also to develop this mentorship component, so that we can also identify companies from within the city center who are already there, so that they can also act as mentors, so that they can help these young companies, give them advice, help them in training, the same way that the existing incubators and accelerators are doing. So really, you know, we have all this that is beyond real estate and just physical construction.
Hamad.
I would like to answer your question. As you said, we're trying to build the digital community, but it's not how, the first thing that we're focusing on is not how to attract entrepreneurs, but how to retain entrepreneurs. We have Lebanon, we think and we believe, and this is being done and seen in the region, all talent is going and traveling outside Lebanon because it does not have the proper infrastructure, the proper medium where they can flourish. This is with Beirut Digital Cluster, we're trying to listen to these people, do the medium where we can create this community, where they can live, work, and yet have fun. But Lebanon, we think, provides the cultural heritage that it has. It is open to many heritage. It has the education. It has, most Lebanese speak 3 languages. They are entrepreneurs. We have the weather. We have many components. We have the legal framework which allow entrepreneurship. We have competitive law frames, and we have the freedom of speech, which is currently attracting many industries in the digital and film productions. And all these aspects is very important. Now, how to retain them here and grow them is to try to provide them with the ICT infrastructure, state-of-the-art infrastructure, and providing with these services to be able to retain them. Because we believe, and that's why we ventured in this project, is that Lebanon and the Levant, Jordan, where education is of a high level, can become the production hubs of the whole area, where the whole MENA is a sales platform. However, the production and the knowledge industries is based in these countries. So this is what we're trying in Beirut Digital District, what we're doing, but we hope that the whole of Lebanon will be transformed into a knowledge-based industries. A small example, instead of hiring a Lebanese in Dubai that would cost between the basic home allowance of, let's say, and basic salaries plus home allowance plus transportation plus, let's say, 5,000–6,000, it would cost him here, it would cost the company here $2,000, $2,500. He'll be living here, he would be raising his family here, he would be enjoying his time. This is what we're trying to do, is become a production hub of knowledge industries, and at the core of this is digital creative industries.
Okay, I think we're going to have to wrap up. Thank you very much for our panelists. If you have questions or are interested in talking to them some more, they'll be around for a little while at least, and we welcome you to join us at the coffee break. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
gentlemen.
Oops, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.